boleh tengok skrin saya ke, Bun?
Boleh. Tapi rasa line Cikgu Rashid ada sedikit lag.
Sedikit
Tak
lag
apa,
kan?
okey, skrin dah ada Cikgu Rashid.
Okay, skrin ada. Okay guys, so this is first I will just talk about what are the market themes ataupun what has been happening for this week, and then I will go into what's going to happen next week. Okay, so saya rasa untuk minggu ni kita ada dengar cerita pasal Bank of England, dia ada naikkan interest rate by 25 BPS atau basis point. Okay, tetapi governor dia agak dovish lah. Saya rasa saya ada bagi tahu yang Bank of England akan naikkan interest rate daripada rasanya 3 atau 4 minggu ataupun almost about 1 month plus. Sebab GBP memang kita jangka orang kata akan kuat sebab dia belum naikkan interest rate. So kali ni dia dah naikkan interest rate, jadi pergerakan kenaikan tu GBP strength, you guys have seen it for the last 1 month plus. Okay, then of course ECB statement, tak ada changes untuk interest rate, tetapi kita siapa yang follow fundamental news mungkin akan orang kata confirm statement yang apa Lagarde speech, her speech was quite hawkish. She used to be a IMF punya president, so now she's a ECB punya president lah. Okay, but the reason why euro was quite strong, you guys also can see from EU as well. Euroshare, particularly Euroshare, they move almost about 100 plus pips atau 150 pips. Okay, because of the euro strength, most likely interest rate might be increased quite soon. Okay, but nevertheless, inflation is still a concern for Eurozone. Okay, and last night NFP, okay, sorry kita tak dapat nak buat NFP live because everyone was quite busy with a few things, personal thing. Tapi walau macam mana pun, saya rasa saya pernah bagi tahu pergerakan gold ataupun data yang mungkin boleh effect masa NFP. Okay, so in a nutshell, we actually saw Euro CPI, okay, this is pretty much on the inflation numbers. Okay, it was still quite high. Okay, so this is where the statement around this inflation was mentioned by Lagarde, and you guys saw the effect on euro strength. Okay, so this is where euro punya inflation ataupun CPI is been hovering around 5% plus. Okay, so ini yang buatkan abang kata euro was quite weak for last couple of months ataupun close to 1 year plus, and suddenly last 1 week plus dia cuba nak naik balik. Okay, kejap lagi kita tengok pair EU. Okay, then you guys will see the clear picture. Okay, so this is where the GBP interest rate decision was increased by 25 basis point. Okay, so this actually pushed GBP quite strong, relatively strong, not so strong that the market wanted, but because the move already priced in quite for a couple of weeks ago, so that's why GBP, the move upon this decision is actually more of a continuation. So most of it is already priced in prior to this, but GBP is going to increase interest rate. It's been orang kata talk of the town ataupun orang dah mula bercakap for the last 2 months plus. Okay, but of course ECB, there's no interest rate decision, but the statement ataupun the speech by Lagarde, it actually moved euro relatively stronger, and it's expected to continue for some time. Okay, that's why last week US dollar was quite weak, and basically DXY was going a bit slower because euro taken over for last week, as I think last week saya dah bagi tahu US dollar akan melemah, okay, temporarily untuk memberi peluang untuk euro dengan GBP untuk buat pullback ataupun retracement. Okay, so then what happened was yesterday NFP, of course, this is the news for last night. Okay, basically this number was quite strong, so that's why USD spiked up ataupun gold agak orang kata menjunam sedikit lah. Okay, the other two numbers given a bit of a orang kata effect, but not so much, but market reacted more towards on this number. Okay. This I already talked about it last week. Federal Reserve going to increase interest rate, whether it's a 50 basis point or 25 basis point. So market is already pricing in. So you guys will see a weakness in US dollar, okay, for some time, okay, because market already pricing in all this interest rate hike, okay. So that's why US dollar was weak last week and also expected to be weak for this coming week and maybe potentially for the next 2 or 3 weeks, okay. So this one we'll discuss shortly why US dollar will be a bit weaker. Okay, I also talked about the reducing balance sheet, okay, last week in detail. But these two is the tools that Federal Reserve going to use it. First is the interest rate, second is the balance sheet. Okay, so these are the two things Federal Reserve will use to manage the what do you call it, the inflation ataupun the economic growth. Okay, oil, nothing much to talk about. I already talked about it. Okay, oil is pushing to almost about $100 price right now. I think yesterday it moved to WTI. I think moved to about 90 to about 91, I think. Okay, so very close. So market is still looking at hitting this $100 magic number. Oh, okay, so equity market, I already talked about it. It's almost like an end of the bull run. Okay, so now market is making lots of what do you call correction. Okay, you guys seen it already. Okay, but the talk of the town for this week was about Facebook. Okay, ataupun sekarang dah tukar nama pergi Meta. Okay, atau Metaverse. Okay, almost about, I think about 250 billion plus, okay, dropped, okay, due to inilah dia punya projected earnings going to be quite weak ataupun very weak, okay, especially regarding on the consumer privacy yang apa tu Apple imposed on Facebook that they cannot track ataupun they want to make it a bit privacy. So there are lots of things going around and Facebook really need to liquidate. So that's actually pushed the market, especially Facebook, hence Nasdaq. Okay, all has been pushed down quite a lot in the last 2 days. Okay, of course, this is a almost 20% drop. Okay, I think you guys were here. Okay, yeah, almost 26%. Okay, this is on the Apple. This is another reason, and also Amazon also have a little bit of an effect. Okay, so this is where the share price dropped it. Okay, for the last 6 months, this has been the lowest. Used to be around 350 to 300. Okay, now almost about 240 ataupun to be exact, I think 237. Okay, so the price has dropped the last two days. Okay, and the last 1 year, you guys can see it. This is a big drop. This is what I was mentioning. So 250 used to be a support. So now it's almost about 237. Okay, so it's great. Of course, market is expecting maybe there will be a bit of a retracement, then maybe continuation of a drop. So this is a big drop untuk Facebook. Okay, geopolitical, I think Ukraine issue still hovering around, but not too much concern at this point. Okay, Winter Olympics started in China yesterday, ataupun I think last night. Putin and Xi Jinping, they become like a close friends, ataupun they're still close friends. Okay, so not a big issue. So now it's like US against ataupun US and Euro, ataupun to be specific is a NATO, okay, against Russia and China punya gang. Okay, so it's look like we are in two different blocks. US, NATO in one side, Russia and China on the other side, and maybe North Korea also sitting on this side. But at this point, geopolitical issue is not a main concern. But this Russia-Ukraine issue still will be a thing to look out for. Okay, so I think this one I already talked about last week. Okay, so without further ado, kita pergi what is going to happen next week. Okay, so boleh nampak academic calendars?
Ya, boleh.
Okay, so next week I'll go through by day, but actually not much news coming up next week. On Monday, okay, actually New Zealand is a public holiday, so we will see not much activity ataupun not much movement on New Zealand. Okay, Kiwi. On the chef, Switzerland, there's an unemployment rate. This will impact chef pest, but particularly, although it's a medium impact, but I will suspect there will be some volatility, but not too much. Okay, because chef is not really a big currency that is normally being traded around, but we'll just move the market on the chef pairs. Okay, so Wednesday, not much. Okay, only inflation expectation. We are not expecting too much move. Okay, Wednesday will be Thursday will be the interesting one. This one. This number will affect US dollar and particularly gold. Okay, because this number is market is going to watch very closely, especially this. Anything below 5% probably will be good. Anything above 6 or 7% is going to be a bit bad. So just look out for this number. Okay, this year-on-year number on CPI. Okay, so Friday we are looking at nothing much. Although there's a Swiss franc CPI, we're not expecting much movement overall. This policy report also we're not expecting anything. So net next week we are looking probably only US dollar and gold, a big movement on Wednesday, but we will see some movement on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, especially gold, okay, and some US dollar, especially EU, GU, might be a retracement ataupun pullback before continue dia punya major direction. Okay, although tak ada apa-apa news, but we are expecting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there will be some kind of profit taking ataupun returns happening. Towards this news, I think towards the Wednesday morning, Wednesday night until about Thursday night, we will be expecting market will be trying to buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing. We'll try to price in what's going to happen for this number. Okay, so that's all for the news for this week and next week. Okay, Bun?
Okey, baik. Terima kasih Cikgu Rashid. So, Cikgu Rashid boleh tahu kenapa price Facebook tu jatuh mendadak?
Okay, macam tadi saya ada tunjuk sedikit few reasons. Okay, this is okay, saya share balik saya punya screen because I didn't go into detail much, but again some of the news is regarding okay, number one is about the future earnings, okay, ataupun dia punya forecast. Mark Zuckerberg, I think for the first time ataupun kind of he has been candid in his dia punya speech ataupun dia punya report that Facebook is going to face lots of challenges in the coming years, especially regulation coming in and how Facebook trying to generate revenue ataupun income, and how all those the privacy, especially this data privacy, is a very big thing for US and Europe particularly. So, and Facebook making money, to be frank, is really out of setiap kali kita buka Facebook, sebenarnya they track your search, your friends, your location, especially particularly your location and your preference, etc. So this part, of course, Apple in a way is disabling it, okay, unless you give your own consent for it. And also there are lots of things going on the data privacy. So when the regulation comes in, especially US and Europe, Metaverse or Facebook is going to face lots of issue because and also second, advertisement has been dropping, okay, particularly in the beginning of this year, and due to COVID, so that's also impacting. And third, you guys see ni Facebook, I think kejap saya tengok share. This is 6 months. But if you guys see Facebook since last year until almost here, almost about what, $200 plus, they increase. So it's just making a correction. And now it will be this is more for the future earning, but this is all more of a correction because Facebook, they naik, boleh katakan terlalu overvalued. Okay? Okay, Bun?
Okey, baik. Terima kasih Cikgu Rashid.